winds were roaring on the height. The trees like torches blazed with light.
Okay, so this is my review of The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. This is coming from someone that didn't read the books. I haven't read Lord of the Rings. I haven't read The Hobbit. I intend to eventually, but for now, this is just my straight on first impressions review of the film. So the story is Bilbo Baggins is a hobbit. He doesn't like going on adventures. He likes to stay with himself. But eventually, a wizard called Gandalf comes and invites him to an adventure to help 13 dwarves reclaim their lost mountain kingdom, Erebor. In their travels, Bilbo, Gandalf, and the 13 dwarves find goblins, trolls, and eventually a ring. I think I speak for everyone when I say that Martin Freeman was probably the best casting choice for Bilbo. I can't imagine anyone else playing that role. He has that everyman role laid down, which I think really works for that particular character. A lot of people complain that the beginning of the film is particularly long, but I quite like the beginning. I like the bits with the dwarves, you know, dancing around and singing, making a mess in Bilbo's house. It's quite fun. That's what Bilbo I think the casting of the dwarves was generally okay, aside from, you know, these two. They don't really look like dwarves to me. But aside from that, I think the rest of the dwarves look pretty decent. They look very dwarf-like. And the makeup is quite good on most of them, but I think the issue with the dwarves is that they kind of become background characters aside from maybe 3 of them that show up every now and then and have a bit more personality to them than the other ones. This wizard was a bit of a strange choice because I don't think he appeared in the book at all. I do think he fits with the tone of the film though. It's weird that he's got birdshit on his face. The scene with Gollum in the cave and Bilbo is very good. I think that's the most accurate part to the book. It's a scene where Bilbo has the ring and Gollum has no idea, and they play a game of riddles to try and catch each other out. I think it was a good scene. I think it really captures like Bilbo's wit. It captures Gollum's former self as a hobbit, you know, with Smeagol, you know, and his playful side that's there, but mostly corrupted by his Gollum side, you know, by, you know, virtue of the ring. Curse it and crush it, we'll hate it forever! The length of the film was the biggest criticism from me, I would say. I think it goes on for a bit too long. It's nearly at the 3-hour mark. I think there could have been at least about 20 minutes cut out of the film. The orcs being CG was another thing that I didn't really like about the film. I think the first film had really good physical effects, especially on the orcs. When you realise that all of them orcs in that film are people with makeup on, it just looks amazing, doesn't it? When you see it in CG, it's not nearly as impressive. So in conclusion, I did like this film. I didn't like it nearly as much as any of the Lord of the Rings films, but I did like it. I liked seeing Middle-earth again. It's always nice to see the Shire and Rivendell. You know, it's always nice to see that setting again. I thought the music was a decent choice. You know, the songs, the dwarven songs about, you know, the mountain, and I think that fits better with the tone that I thought going in. I knew before watching that The Hobbit was made for children, and I thought it would work better if it had more, like, you know, playful bits than Lord of the Rings did. But would I recommend this film? If you liked Lord of the Rings, the films, and you haven't really read the books, I think it would be a good choice to watch the films, but keep in mind it's not entirely based around the book. There are things in there that I know aren't in the book at all, you know, the bits with Sauron and I think that, like I said, the wizard Radagast is barely in the book. Later on, you get the elf, that Toriel, who definitely is not in the book at all. Neither is Legolas. So you've got bits there that it kind of has to, puff itself out to be like 3 3-hour epic films, which I don't think was necessary. I think a lot of people would agree. It should have been at least 2. But I did like the first Hobbit film, and the second one, although there were parts that I did like, for the most part, uh, I'll let you know what I thought about that in another review. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.